Man, this sport is easy to bet. Coming off a 4-0 sweep, let's talk some more baseball. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I am your host, Steven, and that is right. It is about time. 4-0 sweep on the one day we choose to be aggressive. I had 3 1-unit plays, hit them all. Pretty sweat-free night as well. Mitch Keller made it a little sweaty at the end, but on a nice little 5-1 run on the pitcher props as well. So hopefully we can keep that rolling. We'll go over the recap in just a little bit, but quick just announcement. The website, you guys know it's officially live. I just want to say thank you to the almost 200 people that have already signed up. This site has so many tools you can use with betting. This has nothing to do with charging for picks or anything. And we have betting contests coming soon. Like I mentioned, we just had our first article written. It is now up on the website as well. It's Zach, a new team member. You might see him in a preseason NFL video as well, but he wrote his 5 favorite MLB midseason futures bets. So be sure to check that out. But quick reminder, if you don't want just the free community page and all that and sharing bets, use the coupon code JABOLAUNCH for 1 free month of using, and you can use those premium tools. Check it out. If you want to know about the website, there's a 10-minute video up right now going through the website and all that on our YouTube page. So just want to say thanks, but let's keep that rolling. Now, Dinger Tuesday winner. We had none. That's right. Nobody hit a Dinger Tuesday. So we're going to carry it over to next week, Tuesday, and we're going to have an even bigger jackpot. So just stay tuned for that one. But let's get it rolling. And I got a dad joke today. So here we go. I told my wife the next door neighbor died. She said, "Who, Ray?" I said, "It's way too early to celebrate like that." Yep. In this video, we're going to recap yesterday, and then we're going to go over the good and bad hitter matchups, the best pitcher strikeout matchups, the full 15-game pitcher report, and of course, we'll finish it with the best bets and the recap. So hit that like button if you haven't already. Leave a comment below to help this channel continue to grow. Really appreciate all the support. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Come join this awesome community. Again, the link for the website also is in the description below. But let's get it rolling, and that means it's recap time. All right, there it is, the beautiful 4-0 sweep. I mentioned in the Discord, the way we're going to do this sweep is I'm going to just delete all the red X's. I'm not even going to have them on the page, and it worked. So that's all I had to do. It was that simple. But either way, Mitch Keller over 17.5 outs looked sweat-free, and then he made it very sweaty in the 6th. But he got probably his last batter out to win that one. And then Guardians on the money line. You know, it was a one-run game for a little while, but they pulled away. They got the job done. And then Chase Burns over 5.5 Ks. He was absolutely filthy early on in that one. That was a cash, I think, in the 3rd inning. And then the all-team total parlay, we were back to a sweat-free winner. Toronto made it a little sweatier. I think it was 6th, 7th inning. They finally went over 2.5. Cubs went over 2.5 fairly easy, and then so did the Angels. So we will take it. 4-0 day. But I know as well as any that this one day can be erased the next day because it's baseball, and that's the challenge we have. So let's try to keep this rolling. There's the overall record as we try to dig out of that hole. Now down 8.5 units on the year with all the breakdowns there. So that's what we got for the recap. Now let's talk the hitter matchups. All right, we got 15 good hitter matchups for you. It starts with Mike Trout against Sean Manaea, 9 for 21 with 3 home runs. That is not too shabby. And then we got some other good ones. How about Manny Machado off Sandy Alcantara, 7 for 12. Xander Bogaerts, 5 for 11. That's not too shabby. And then over there on the right side, Mookie Betts, who has been, let's just face it, horrendous this year. He's hitting like 240, but he's 6 for 9 off Chris Paddock. And then Ben Rice-A-Roni, 3 for 9. Paul Goldschmidt, 4 for 9. You see George Springer is having a great season as well. All the way down to James Wood, 4 for 7 with an extra base hit off Nick Lodolo. So that's what we got for the good hitter matchups. Now let's take a look at the bad hitter matchups. We got quite a few of them. Dolis Garcia, 4 for 26, 7 Ks off JP Sears. I don't know why, but it just is. Vladimir Guerrero down there, 2 for 14 off Max Fried. And then over there on the right side, Corey Seager, 2 for 13 off JP Sears. Also struggling. Wyatt Langford, 1 for 11. Why they're not hitting JP Sears, I'm not sure, but they have not. And then Freddie Freeman, 1 for 10 off of Chris Paddock. So that's what we got for all the hitter matchups. Now let's talk some Ks. All right, we got 2 good pitcher strikeout matchups for you today, starting with the lefty Jesus Luzardo against the Angels. Angels 8th highest K rate versus lefties last 3 weeks, 24.7%. Luzardo 129 and 109 innings, so pretty good swing and miss stuff there. He has exactly 7 strikeouts now in 4 of his last 5 starts. He does have a slightly lower K rate at home, nothing huge though, 26.9 compared to 28.1, and then a higher K rate versus lefties, and it's not even close, 39.6 compared to 24.4 versus righties. Tyler Glasnow versus the Twins is the second one. Twinkies, ninth highest K rate versus righties at 22.4. It's not a crazy high number, but still below average. Tyler Glasnow, 34 Ks in just 29 innings so far this year in his 2 starts back from injury. If you guys don't know, Glasnow started earlier in the year and then had like a month or 2 or a little bit more off because of injury. And in those 2 starts back from injury, he has 11 strikeouts in 11 innings. Higher K rate at home, 29.6 compared to 26.5 on the road. Again, small sample size and a way higher K rate versus righties, 41.4% compared to just 16.1 versus lefties. But again, a smaller sample size and only 29 innings. So that's what we got for the pitcher strikeout matchups. Now let's take a look at the pitcher report. Here are the first 8 matchups of the day. If you're new to the channel, we give this out every single day. We got home runs per 9 over there, K rate, walk rate, whip, expected ERA. All the averages are on the bottom so you have an idea. But we start out with Lodolo versus Soroka. Lodolo been pretty solid this season, giving up just 11 hits in his last 19 innings. But he did give up 5 earned runs on those 11 hits. But having a pretty good season, 3.33 ERA. Soroka, 5.1 ERA, struggling in July, has a 6.92 ERA in July. Missed some more bats than I expected this year, but still starting to struggle a little bit. And Dylan Cease versus Sandy Alcantara. I'm going to say it both ways every time. Dylan Cease, coming off one of his best starts of the year. He is a guy who has the ability to strike out 10 and give up no runs, or he could give up 6 runs. He doesn't have a ton of pitches, but when his pitches are on, they're pretty tough. But Cease had one of those good starts last time. And then Sandy, he's still pitching like a minor leaguer. He has given up an insane 22 earned runs in his last 23 innings. And then Verlander, who was at bingo last night with Rich Hill. Spencer Strider, this is a matchup that is obviously an advantage for the Braves. Verlander has become batting practice. He has given up 23 hits in 11.2 innings in July. That's just not good, guys. Strider looking solid, but not quite himself yet. Although last start was 6 shutout innings, 3 hits and 8 earned runs allowed. And then we go to Melton and Falter. So Melton is making his major league debut. In case you guys don't know, he's a 4th round pick from 2022. He had a career 3.63 ERA with a 28% K rate in 272 minor league innings. So he had some good swing and miss stuff. A pretty decent ERA. So we'll see what we get there. And then Burke, not Sean Burke. It's a different Burke. Just means it's a bullpen game because he's a reliever for the Angels. Sean Manaea, 13 Ks and just 2 earned runs allowed in his 7.1 innings this year. It's just obviously small sample size, started really late from injury. And then Seth Lugo versus Colin Ray. Lugo coming off a bad start of 8 hits and 5 earned runs to the Marlins. But other than that, he's been pretty solid this year, as you see by a 2.94 ERA, due for some negative regression with that 4.3 expected ERA. And then Colin Ray, I don't even know if you guys know it, but he's actually been really good lately. In his last 4 starts, which is 23.2 innings, he's given up just 14 hits and 5 earned runs. Maybe he's figured something out. Maybe he's getting lucky. We will find out. Palante, he struggled his last 2 starts, giving up 12 earned runs and 17 hits in 10.1 or 10.2 innings. He's a guy who's very up and down. He can look really good also, and then he can get his doors blown off. But he's facing TBD Colorado. Insert pitcher for Colorado. Who cares who it is? Brandon Walter, the lefty of the Astros. He has had good starts now in 3 of the last 4, giving up just 5 hits in his last 12 innings. Couple blow-up games on the road this year. But other than that, he's been pretty solid. Brandon Pfaadt, coming off his best start of the year. I've made fun of him all season. He threw 7 shutout innings with 6 Ks versus the Cardinals. I'm not here to say he's like back or anything, but he's looked a little better lately. So we'll see if he can keep that rolling. But that's what we got for page 1. Take a screenshot now. Let's look at page 2 and the Priest going up against Luis Castillo. Priester coming off a surprising 6-inning shutout with 10 strikeouts. You heard me. A guy with a 20% K rate had 10 strikeouts versus the Dodgers in his last start. Castillo giving up 0 earned runs in his last 13.2 innings at home. He's a pitcher that's usually better at home, but honestly, he's been pretty good this year. Strikeout stuff is just average now at this point of his career, but he's been really limiting some runs lately. So Chris Paddock, a guy who has not been limiting runs. He has been struggling for a while now. He's given up 4 or more earned runs in 5 of his last 7 games. That is not good. In the other 2 games, by the way, he didn't. He gave up 3 and 2. Going up against Glasnow, we talked about it a little bit already, 29 innings only, but he's only given up 18 hits in those 29 innings. We know he's one of the better pitchers when healthy and in the right form in the league. And then Zach Eflin versus Slade Ciccone. Eflin only threw 28 pitches last start with the All-Star break and everything, so he is going to be rested. Ciccone been solid this year, except for his last start. 8 hits and 6 earned runs allowed in 8.1 innings. So he did go deep in the game, but he also gave up 6 earned runs versus the A's. Again, you're going to see this. I mentioned it yesterday. A lot of people had some weird start right before the break, where it's either the opposite, where they pitch really well when they usually don't, or they pitch terrible when they usually pitch well. But Lucas Giolito, after 6 straight solid starts, he was one of those guys. He struggled in his last start versus the Cubbies in Wrigley. Going up against Luzardo, he has looked excellent in some starts, and then obviously really bad in others, especially when he tips his pitches. But Max Fried versus Chris Bassett in the third game. The series is tied. This is a good series so far. Fried giving up 3+ earned runs, though, in 3 straight starts, so he's been scored on a little bit. And then Bassett somehow gave up 10 hits last game with 0 earned runs against the Giants. That's tough to do. Jonathan Cannon versus Taj Mahal. Cannon, he has actually given up 2 or less earned runs now in 4 straight starts. Somehow getting the job done. Low K rate, obviously, giving up a lot of hits this year, 9.3 hits per 9 inning. And then Taj Mahal continues his up and down season. He's had some great starts and bad. I mean, this is a guy who would give up 6 runs, then shut out a team, then 7, then shut out a team. It's just been one of those up and down years. JP Sears versus Corbin, a pair of lefties, finishes us off. Sears, after a few good starts, he's now given up 10 hits and 9 earned runs in his last 2 starts. You saw some Ranger hitters that have struggled against him, but Patrick Corbin for the Rangers. Guys, I don't know what to tell you. He continues to give his team a chance to win. This is maybe the stat of the year. Even though it's not that excellent, it's still decent for him. He has given up 3 or less earned runs in 16 of 18 starts. That just means he is giving his team a chance to win every time he takes the mound. So, anyways, that's what we got for all 15 games and all the research help. Now it's time for the best bets. All right, this first one takes us out to the Pacific Northwest, where the Seattle Mariners host the Milwaukee Brewers. Mariners on the money line -136. Brew Crew money line +116 with a total of 7.5 runs. You guys know I'm a Mariner fan, but I'm betting against them. Give me the Brew Crew on the money line +116 on FanDuel. It's going to be a half unit play for me here. It's tough going against my team, but you know what? I think this is a fairly even matchup. Getting +116 just seems off to me. But let's talk about this starting pitcher matchup that honestly I think is pretty even. Luis Castillo versus Quinn Priester. Castillo's been solid this year, especially at home, like we talked about. But he faced Houston, who's been struggling off and on when he did face him. Pittsburgh, Boston, and Cleveland when those 2 teams were struggling. So not exactly juggernauts. He has been consistent, though. Just still an average K rate. 4.18 xFIP shows some negative regression is coming. Struggles more versus lefties, giving up a 265 average and 434 slugging. A very high 5.14 xFIP versus lefties. You're going to see 3 of the top 5 hitters in Milwaukee's lineup as lefties, with another 1 or 2 down below. And the other 2 that aren't lefties in the top 5, they're William Contreras and Jackson Chourio. So I think they can get to him here for a few runs. And then Quinn Priester, he's been solid this season as well. And it's thanks to his elite ground ball rate. 58.7% ground ball rate, 96th percentile. In his last 4 starts, just 15 hits allowed in 23.2 innings. And also in 2 of those 4 starts, how about an 11 and 10 strikeout game? Offenses, Brewers have won 11 of the last 12 for a reason. Some of that is because their hitting can just score. Their offense can score in bunches. 9th highest WRC plus. Mariners swinging it better lately. They had a pretty good series against Houston, but again, they faced Lance McCullers in one of them, which really helped. But this is the offense that we've seen struggle at home, and we saw it again yesterday with 1 run. I trust this Brewers lineup more. I'm going to be honest. Maybe it's just because I'm a Mariner fan. I'm too close to it. Bullpens, Mariners would have the advantage here, and they probably still do have a slight advantage. They just use top arms. Bizardo, Brash, Munoz all through. Bizardo should still probably be available. And then Brewers are kind of in the same boat there as well. But overall, this is what it's about for me. I'm getting plus money for just the better team overall. I mean, they just had their 11-game win streak snapped. So, I mean, they're still a very good team. And we have an even starting pitcher matchup, +116, taking the value, half unit play. Give me the Brew Crew on the money line as my first best bet. All right, this next one takes us out to Cleveland, Ohio, where the Guardians host the Baltimore Orioles. Guardians money line -124, Orioles money line +106 with a total of 8.5 runs. What are we doing with this line? Give me the Guardians on the money line. This is a 1-unit play for me here. Rinse and repeat from yesterday. I don't understand this line. Maybe I'm getting trapped. But like I said yesterday, this Guardians team is one of the hottest teams in the league. I'm not exactly sure that the sports books know that. But they are 12-2 in their last 14. I know it can't last forever, but it has been impressive. And then we got a starting pitcher matchup. This is an advantage for the Guardians as well. Slade Ciccone versus Zach Eflin. Ciccone, if you don't know, he's been solid. Other than his last start, again, a lot of people have had a weird, terrible start right around the All-Star break. But against the A's, he gave up a decent amount of runs, but he gave up 2 or less earned runs in 7 of the previous 10 games before that. He's had some pretty good command. He's going to give his team a chance to win. Zach Eflin, he's rested, like we talked about in the pitcher report after barely throwing last start. Why do I love this bet though? Because Zach Eflin is awful versus lefties. 347 average, guys, to lefties. 714 slugging. On top of that, how about a 6.25 ERA in the road? Guardians have the better starting pitcher and the better splits here. Offenses, Orioles continuing just to be underwhelming. I think we're all expecting them to become this top 10 offense again. They're just not. They've been hovering around average in WRC plus, 2 below average in the last 3 weeks. In the last 10 games, this team is averaging 3.3 runs per game. They're just not getting it done. Guardians, one of the hottest offenses in baseball since the break. They have scored 4 or more runs in 9 of the last 10. That's right. Orioles averaging 3.3. Guardians, 4 is like their minimum. They are averaging just around 6 runs per game in their last 10. Absolutely swinging it well. Jose Ramirez especially. And since the All-Star break, how about averaging right around 7 runs per game? I mean, it's been impressive. Bullpen, I've talked about before, advantage Guardians. They still got their big arms available even after yesterday. So overall, getting the better starting pitcher, in my opinion, the better offense right now, the better bullpen, the much hotter team. They are at home. Give me the Guardians on the money line at minus 124 for 1 unit as my second best bet. All right, this third one takes us out to Pittsburgh, where the Pirates host the Detroit Tigers. Tigers money line minus 158, Pirates money line plus 129 with a total of 8.5 runs. I got a player prop here. It's one that I haven't really done in a while. Give me Bailey Falter under 5.5 hits allowed at plus 100 on Bet365. This is a half unit play for me here. So, like I said, I think we've done maybe like 2 hits props this year, but let's talk Falter first. One of the big reasons I love this is because he does not go deep into games. When I was diving into this game, I was realizing how many pitches he's really throwing. I was looking at Ks. I'm just trying to take an under anything. The hits is what popped out to me. The Pirates coaches just don't want him seeing a lineup more than twice, really. Here's his pitch count in the last 3 starts: 75, 74, and 78. He has actually thrown 80-plus pitches, or over 80 pitches, in 2 of the last 10 starts. That's not very deep into games. In fact, he's only faced 63 batters all season, the 3rd time through the lineup. This obviously means less chances to be hit. As you can see by this outlier screenshot, under this line overall this season in 14 of 20 games. That's a nice 70% hit rate, hash brown math. No more than 6 hits allowed in 14 straight. That's right, no more than 6 hits allowed in 14 straight. Yes, if he gives up exactly 6, we lose this bet. But, I mean, that's the ceiling, 6 hits in 14 straight. Solid 3.65 ERA at home with just a 2.28 average against. So pitching better at home. And now he's facing a struggling Tigers offense. The last 3 weeks versus lefties, 24th WRC plus and 25th in batting average. They are hitting just 210 against lefties. Now, let's talk some recent, if I could talk, recent lefties versus the Tigers. Jacob Latz allowed 6 hits in 5 innings. Okay, it's Jacob Latz. Barely went over. Patrick Corbin, how about 3 hits in 5.2 innings? Logan Allen, how about 2 hits in 6 innings? That's right, Corbin and Allen combined under this line to give up 5 hits in 11.2 innings against the Tigers. Mackenzie Gore, 3 hits in 5.1 innings. Jeffrey Springs, 4 hits in 5 innings. Jacob Lopez, 3 hits in 7 innings. He went 7 and still only gave up 3 hits. As you can see, lefties are just dominating this offense right now. Andrew Heaney, 8 hits and 4. He was one of the few that went over. And then Bailey Falter. He's obviously, we're betting him here. He already faced him, gave up 5 hits in 5 innings. So 6 of the last 8 lefties have gone under this line, some under by quite a bit. And again, not only that, we're getting a guy in Falter who's 5 innings is his max. 75, 80 is his maximum for pitches. So these kind of bets, if you don't know, they require some luck. I mean, everything requires luck, let's face it. But sometimes a weak ground ball or a blooper finds a hole, and maybe that's the one that we lose on it. So we need some luck on our side, but I really like this with the limited pitch count. The Tigers struggling offensively lately, especially against lefties. I like Falter to stay under yet again. So give me Bailey Falter under 5.5 hits allowed. That is my 3rd and final best bet on the video. Again, any added plays will be in the pinned comments below with a link to our new website with all the write-up and everything like that. So thank you guys for listening. Before we get out of here, let's check out the recap. All right, here are my 3 best bets so far. Give me the Brew Crew on the money line plus 116, Guardians money line minus 124, and Bailey Falter under 5.5 hits allowed plus 100 on Bet365 for a half unit. Thank you guys for watching. As always, really appreciate the support. If you haven't already, hit that like button. But hope you guys all have a great Wednesday. Enjoy some day baseball, and we'll talk to you soon.